Hearty welcome to Global Talk Show by Business Power Academy, Netherlands. And today we have an amazing and vivacious guest from Carolina, none other than Nancy White, the Healthy Souls Shake. And that speaks most about her before I introduce her. And she is a host, she is a co-host, she is the executive director, and we will come to know more about her with this lovely journey. And I'm so excited to host my guest, Nancy. So let's begin this great journey. Nancy, welcome to our show.
Oh, thank you so much for allowing me to be with you today. I look forward to our fun conversation.
Nancy, you have been referred to as the most connected people, the most connected person. So I would love to know your journey, what it is all about, and how you have been referred to as the most connected person in leading business.
Oh, well, thank you so very much. And the journey started 70 years ago. So I was born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I had three brothers growing up, and life was going fantastic until I was about 8 years old. And then my father got sick, and unfortunately, I can remember when I was 9 years old, and my mother and him were coming home from the hospital because he had been on that journey of healing. He had Hodgkin's disease. And I was sitting on the front porch. I got to play hooky from school that day because they were coming home. And I remember sitting on those steps, just waiting for that car to come down the street. And it finally came down the street, and I ran and opened the doors, and my dad was not there. So I learned that day that he was not going to be coming back. And that left my mother with 4 children to raise by herself. So my oldest brother, John, and I were so close, and I loved just his whole heart. He wanted to be a doctor, and I was going to be a nurse. So he joined the Navy and was studying to be a doctor, and discovered that he had leukemia. He discovered his own leukemia. We'll talk about that later, but he lived 2 years longer. So fast forward a little bit, I went through my journey of growing up with my brothers and my mother. And then after I got out of school, then I started on the quote journey of life, and have had lots of positions and things that I did. And then even after my children were born, I was a researcher for the government for years. And I decided I was going to stay home, be a stay-at-home mom, and be an entrepreneur. Had no clue what that meant. So anyways, through my journey of entrepreneurship, I started businesses from the ground up. Some flopped, some failed. I was an inventor for a while, but then just continuing to grow and to get to know people and to evolve. I started leading networking groups over 20 something years ago. And through that journey, I have found incredible resources to be able to use, but to share. And that's when you refer to, the most connected woman or in the area, because our city, like a lot of cities, is very transient. We have people moving in and out all the time. But when people come in, I love being able to help them to get acclimated and also to find resources that they need to use for their own life. And now we have grown globally, and I have gotten more and more amazing resources around the world to be able to share. I've been part of a lot of different networking groups, leading things. And through networking, you mentioned, we were talking about our journey of life. When you find those resources to use and to share for your business, that was how my first book got started, because I have been in health and wellness for a researcher over 40 years. And unfortunately, my father's and my brother's premature deaths birthed something in me to learn of ways about being preventative and proactive in our health. And so that was the launch pretty much for myself into the field that I'm in today that has led me to there. But when we talk about, journeys of life, I've had a lot of years, and we're not going to go through a whole lot of things. And I know we're going to talk about some things that have been challenges, and we've all gone through them. And guess what? We're still here. So we're not finished yet. But I think, the education that we go through, the education of life, all helps to form us. And we get to choose. We get to choose whether we're going to allow those things to make us to become bitter and to be, reclusive, or if we're going to take those things and know, I'm going to get through this. And as a woman, I have learned we need to ask for help and we need to accept it. We can't do this life by ourselves, but we can pick and choose what we're going to do with the things that we've gone through. And we always know we're here to support and help each other. So that was sort of a quick little overview, but tell me what else you would like for us to talk about.
That's really amazing one, Nancy. And it is such a great, vivacious journey which you have told has inspired thousands and millions who are watching currently. Well, in this course, I would love to know about your challenges. Which were you facing, and what kind of, there were knockdown challenges happens in life, in everybody's life. So would love to know those challenges, how you faced, and what about their impact in your inspirational journey.
Well, when you asked that question, I was thinking about it and pondering it. I mean, again, my father and my brother's deaths were hard to go through, especially for my mom. But my mom lived to be 96, and she was, quote, the health nut. But there were some challenges when she got older as far as her care that I had to accept. There's times in life when we have no control over some things, and we have to know when we can bless and release that. I call it BNR. But the things that we have control over, then we need to be able to address those things. And if we need help, we need, again, to ask. But I can remember I married my high school sweetheart, and we had dated for years and years. And he was killed suddenly on a motorcycle wreck. I used to ride Harleys when I was in, high school and early 20s. I'm sure my mother just loved that after she had put me in ballet to be around other little girls, and then now her daughter's riding Harleys. But that was a time in my life, another death. So, and then fast forward a little bit, I married my children's father. We had known each other 6 months. We had met at church, so surely it should be okay, right? When you meet somebody at church, that's a great word of wisdom. Don't marry anybody after 6 months. You need to know that person for at least, I believe, a year to go through those seasons. But he ended up abusing drugs and alcohol, and we parted ways. And I was a single mom for a season of my life. And I will tell you that my children, even today as adults, can look back and have good, fond memories of the fun times that we had together. So then my current husband, we had met 32 years ago, and we dated 2 years. I had walls around my heart. I'm sitting there going, not going this way again. But anyways, but we married, and we have been together for 30 years. So I will tell you that a lot of death, divorce, there's been different things in my life that I have gone through. And I love helping other women too, to navigate some of those streams and difficulties. Another difficulty that I had gone through as an entrepreneur and an inventor, I had created this fun, amazing little invention, and it was to put in the windows. It was a little shade called Shade No More Tears. I had an attorney. I did a nationwide survey. I contacted companies, with the non-disclosures, and all those things went the right way. Well, fast forward again, a company that I had shared information with came out with the exact same product about 2 years later. But being the person, if you don't have unlimited funds, you can't go and sue somebody, or especially a big company, because they can just keep it in the courts as long as they want to. So that was another time in my life that I just had to decide if I was going to forgive and get over it, or if I was going to just stay angry about it, for how long. I think we go through a lot of times in our lives that we have to choose how long we're going to stay angry, bent out of shape, if we're going to be able to forgive. And sometimes people go, well, I can't forgive them. And I tell them, I say, when you don't, it stops some flow of beautiful blessings in your life. It doesn't mean that you forget and you don't learn a lesson, but but when you can release that, they don't have control over you anymore. And they don't care about it anyways. It doesn't bother them. They've gone on with whatever they were doing in life. Yeah. So we have to be able to know when to draw that line and say, okay, I'm just going to release this so that I can receive whatever else I need to receive.
Wow, this is really a great, I must say, the way you thought about us, about challenges, how we should take it, how we should think in a proper, systematic, positive way. That spoke a lot about you, Nancy, and it is really great to know how you face, because facing a challenge is making yourself rather than breaking yourself. And now I am so excited to see your background about the healthy cells check, the HNP, and now it's time to know about, because you are a best-selling author, about your books, about your work, and now I would love to know about your work which you are into, what kind of books you have written, what is this healthy cells check? Please enlighten us, your work, and my global audience are so excited to know about this.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, we'll start with the books, because I had told people for years, they would say, you're a walking encyclopedia. You've got all this information in your head. You should write a book. This is almost a decade ago. And so I kept going, I don't want to write a book. I don't mind talking. I don't want to write a book. You don't tell the Lord you don't want to do something. It's like, anyways, my first book is called the GRT Journal. It stands for Gratitude, Reflections, and Tips. And I'll hear a lot of people go, I don't like to journal. I don't like to write. And I'll say, well, can you fill in the blanks? It's like the GRT Journal is a tool to use 10 minutes at the end of each day to reflect back over the day, to just document those things, what you did for a deed of kindness. What was your highlight? What did you do for fun? And then for the healthy part, did you drink, 8 glasses of water or more? Did you eat healthy? Did you make good, healthy choices? Did you exercise? We love that one. And did you sleep? And then it also has things in it for quarterly to be able just to evaluate where you are and where you want to go. So that was the first book. And then the second one was a collaborative book called Light at the End of the Funnel. It was all of us entrepreneurs about, our journey in our life and our entrepreneurship. And so my chapter was about, thank you for stealing my invention. And remember, we talked a little bit about, the shady attorney that really did not help me, but I think, turned away. But again, when life happens and it's not fair, it's not right, what are you going to learn from it? Entrepreneurs need to be able to know your business is a business, and you need to talk to other people that have been there and done it, and to find those great people to collaborate with. Especially women entrepreneurs need to ask and get that information, their foundation set right, and then keep evolving it. The third book was about radical self-love. And my part in that book was about self-love is creating goals, and then also how to reverse engineer those goals to be able to see them come to fruition. To me, I think, for us, self-love is involving a lot of things. It's not just loving yourself. It's being a good steward of your businesses, your family, your relationships, making those plans for the future and staying educated and updated, especially. And the fourth book is to be released soon. And that one is Making Peace from Your Pieces. And it is talking about the brokenness, the things that we go through that break us down. But you know what? When we put them back together, and sometimes we have to use some super glue, but we get put back together, our pieces, and then where do you go from there? You continue on. So the other part you were asking about was, I have loved leading networking groups, and I have for over 20 years. And I've been co-hosting one of the Happy Neighborhood Networking chapters, and it is a global networking group that I would love to share with anybody around the world that's available to them. And I have been doing that over 2 years. I have a dear partner that he and I have interviewed entrepreneurs with the network show. We love hearing stories just like what you're doing, because we all learn from each other. And when you hear where somebody has been and where they are, you can learn a lot. Sometimes we look at people and we have no clue what they have gone through to get to where they are today. So Lawrence and I have done the network show for a while, and then I just celebrated a year of my Win-Win-Win Women TV program on Win-Win Women Network. And the goal for this show with Paula Fellingham in the community of Win-Win Women is to be in front of 3.5 billion women around the world to have a 24/7 global platform where they can come anytime, day or night, to learn about different subject matters that can be helpful for them. And so I am a lifelong learner. I'm never going to stop, because the more that we learn, the more we can share with others. What else did I miss? One other question. Oh, my business.
Yes.
My business.
The healthy sales chick, I want to know. It's so fascinating. And its name is so catchy that I always used to think, what is this healthy sales chick? And I'm going to ask this question to Nancy. Yeah.
Yeah. So the healthy sales chick came about because, again, going back to the deaths of my father and brother, when I started researching over 40 years ago, I know what a happy, healthy cell needs, and 70 basic building blocks are ionic minerals and just water. That's what our body needs. But our cellular health is something that we can nourish, and it does make a big difference, not only for today, but for future. I think preventative, proactive, as much as we can in this day and time, because unfortunately, I really see and believe we're in a combative zone. Our minds, our bodies, and our spirits are always being combated and challenged. And the more that we can be preventative, proactive, and then when life happens, then you get back again and you want to find ways to bounce back even faster. Our bodies completely regenerate every 6 to 8 years, so we might as well make a new good one. But at 70, I love that I'm not on any medications, that I got to work out with Arnold Schwarzenegger 50 years ago. So I know that you have to move it or lose it. And so, we just keep tweaking things as we age. And again, the healthy sales chick, I have been an executive with an American-based company, Isogenics, over 16 years, because I really know that keeping our pH alkaline by keeping ionic minerals in our bodies, keep those things in it, are very important. And unfortunately, where we are, everything is pretty much genetically modified. It's been, even organic foods are less nutritious. So we have to supplement with something. And so everybody is different. And I love talking with people about their preventative healthy lifestyles and celebrate the good things they are doing. How many times does anybody ever come up to you and go, so how are you doing with your healthy lifestyle and what are you doing? And you share with them and they go, yay, you're doing fantastic. Keep it up. Is there any area in your life or your healthy lifestyle that you might need to have tweaked or have some suggestions for? That's a whole different approach than coming up to try to say, oh, you should buy this, you should buy this would be great for you. And you did not even take time to talk and to listen to that person. I think it's really important for us, again, to cheer each other on, to build each other up, the good things that people are doing. And then if there's areas in their lives for their physical and financial health, I think you need to nourish both because we're responsible for them. We are responsible for our own self-care. We can't depend on anybody else.
Very true, Nancy. And when you told about the healthy cells check, now I am, I got the clear picture what actually it is all about. And yes, I will recommend my all global viewers to go through your book, which you told about your journey, your Amazon bestsellers. Take them, read them, go through it, and transform their life with the greatest perception. And if I talk about the healthy cells check, what she has told about age is just a number, move on. And I love your vivacious. Thank you so much, Nancy, for this loveliest answer, I must say. Well, moving to ahead in this lovely journey, I would love to know about your mission. What is your mission, Nancy? And we would love to know that.
Well, I really believe my mission is, as long as I get to wake up and every single day going, yay, I'm back. What we get to do today, Lord. My mission is to continually help other people to work on their healthy lifestyles and to live that preventative, proactive life. I mean, and I have to live it too. You can't suggest and do things for other people if you're not willing to do it. And so my mission is to continually take good care, the best care that I can of myself, and to help others to do the same thing, especially teaching the next generation is so important. When we can teach mothers and fathers ways to have healthy lifestyles, but to pass it on children so that they can make those good, better, best choices, so that they know that when anxiety comes up, how to combat those types of things. To me, it's paying it forward so the next generations can be equipped and not just have to depend on Googling something or whatever, but they have learned by example, which I think is so important for all of us.
Wow. And I am sure this mission is going to enlighten thousands of viewers who are watching us today live. And what a great mission. I congratulate you, Nancy, for this great mission and vision too. May God bless you and you achieve your mission. Great one. Well, now the time has come to say bye-bye, but this time is so lovely that I don't want to say any bye. Well, I want to know, Nancy, what your message to the world today is.
I think one of my best messages is just to really think, telling people just to stop for a moment and not focus on struggles, but to focus on the good things, to focus on the things that are going to help them. I think sometimes we get so overwhelmed with life and, we just need to stop for just a couple of minutes, stop and breathe, and just be able to say, ask yourself, we talk to ourselves all the time anyways, is this something I have control over? And that's yes or no. And if it's yes and you need some help, ask for it. If it's no, then you have to find those healthy ways to release it and let it go. And again, as we're releasing, then we're making an area to receive. And we always want to be releasing and receiving continually. That is part of life and growth. So I think the main thing is to stop just focusing on the struggles and the negativities, but just find out, is this something you do have control over or not? And then address it then.
Wow, this is really a great positive message, Nancy, you have delivered to our global audience. And I'm sure after going through this video or they're watching us live, their life is going to be transformed and they are going to get a lot of wisdom nuggets. So, once again, thank you so much for being with us on our show and inspiring thousands of lives today. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much. I love being with you. And I think you're doing a fantastic job helping the world to know amazing lessons that can help each other.
Well, thank you once again, Nancy, and all my global viewer audience for inspiring us, for loving us. So keep doing that. Stay happy, hail and hearty. Bye bye.